to get this, because the only other bourbon I ever get this off of
It's Old
is
Fitzgerald.
the Old Fitzgerald. That's it.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Bourbon Theory. I'm Bill.
And I'm Josh.
And so today we have what I think is a special. I've never seen this before. I have never seen it before I bought it. And I've never seen it since I bought it. So this is called Espy House.
Washington's Reserve.
So the bottle reminds me a lot of Castle and Key. Not exactly, but it reminds me a lot of it. This is not from Castle and Key.
This is still in Bardstown, so Heaven Hill, Bardstown Bourbon Company, probably one of those.
And bottled in Bardstown, distilled in Kentucky. So we don't know where exactly it was distilled. It's 124.3 proof. This is barrel number 8, bottle number 65.
So we just did a touch of research before we started the video. So this is named after the infamous Espy House.
Yes.
Which was a home owned by George Washington.
And it's in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, yes.
So, lots of history, but let's get to the bourbon, right?
I'm really interested in the history part. So sorry.
So, and I do like history myself, but
I'm a history nerd.
The thing that interesting to me is I've never seen anywhere else. So I picked this up in Tennessee, just outside Crossville, Peavine Wine and Spirits. A bit expensive, about $145.
Wow.
For something I had never heard of.
Did you try this?
I believe I did taste it.
Man, it's dark.
It is dark.
I poured myself a little heavier than I wanted to, now that I'm realizing.
I'll swap with you if you want.
I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. I'll swap with you. That's fine.
Yeah,
wow, though. Super caramelly on the nose.
Look at that hold.
Oh, yeah, that's sticking big time. Wow.
Ooh. That 124 comes in there.
Oh, yeah, it's there. That's for sure.
Yeah, caramel.
Mm-hmm.
Creme brulee.
Yeah, that's more like it. That's a vanilla thing, though, I think. We don't know.
I don't get the banana piece of it, but that
creme brulee does not have bananas. That's a bananas Foster. I think you're thinking.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put a blowtorch to this, but 124 at my light.
So there were some tasting notes on this, correct?
Yeah, but let's not read them. Let's do it on our own.
I'm reading them. Curious. I just wanted to see if creme brulee was on the tasting notes, and it was. I mean, it's really, really sweet on the nose.
It's rich. It is just
super.
That
yes.
I mean, that's a term. Just rich.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very rich.
And I'm going to go right in for it. You keep smelling.
Go ahead.
Caramel is almost the only thing that I'm getting on the nose.
There is an underlying fruit in there. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's. I only get this on occasion, but it's like butterscotch. There's a buttery.
That's on the bottle.
What?
Butterscotch.
Oh.
Wow, that drink's above its proof.
Okay, I'm going to drink. You talk.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah, that drink's above its proof. That drink's in the 130s for sure. It's fairly hot, and it sits on the mid palate. Finish is certainly there. There's a nice oakiness on it. Butterscotch note, I'm getting it. That's more on the front palate. There is an overall like vanilla melding going on all three levels of the tongue. There's not a ton of spice.
There's some spice.
It's still there.
Oh, there's some spice there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to see what else the bottle says. So the bottle says brown sugar, creme brulee, butterscotch, and leather. On the palate, mixed nuts, baking spices mingled with a finish of spearmint, mellow oak, black currant.
The mint comes in. Yes, the mint's there.
I'm having some trouble with the mint.
Sides of the back of toward the back third. of your tongue.
One thing for the people that are listening right now and watching, if you're struggling getting things off of your palate after you've taken your sip, take an inhale, sort of make a kissing face almost with your mouth. Inhale, that'll really accentuate
Plus, it
the
makes it
flavors
very
that
funny
you're
on
getting.
video.
I just love all of you.
No, he's right. The way you do it and the cooling that it can have on your palate, it does. This is
okay. I'm getting the mint on the palate after I put 2 drops in mine because I've got a fair bit left.
I'm telling you that it's there.
Yeah,
it's not overpowering. It's subtle. It's very subtle. And to get this, because the only other bourbon I ever get this off of is the Old Fitzgerald. That's it.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a Heaven Hill product. Maybe this came from Heaven Hill.
I thought Old Fitz was Buffalo Trace now.
No.
It's going to bug me if I don't grab a bottle and look.
He's got to fact check me, like ABC and CBS.
This bottle doesn't say, but this one's older. Although all of these that are Old Fitzes up here are going to be older.
Yeah, but next thing you'll do is be on the internet.
These all say Louisville, Jefferson County, Kentucky. So, because I thought Old Fitz was Stitzel-Weller, and then Buffalo Trace bought Stitzel-Weller. They bought Weller, but did they buy all of the Stitzel-Weller brands? No. Okay. I'll trust your experience.
There's still mint on it.
Oh, for sure. After the drop of water, like mint for sure.
Oh. I was worried when I bought this bottle. I was like, "Don't be a moron. Don't spend that kind of money on something you have never heard of before." But I did taste it in the store. Your mom waited in the truck.
The mint is certainly there.
This lasts. I've only had one sip of this, and it's still there. It's
sitting
hanging.
Really heavily on the finish.
It's mid to back palate. Man, it's there.
It's spicy. It's sweet. It's minty. I'm not the biggest fan of the mint,
but it's not. It's subtle. It's not.
It is
overpowering.
Very subtle.
The thing I think that makes you think it might be a bit overpowering is that it melds in with a spice.
Yeah.
The mint and the spice, they can kind of complement each other, but I think the mint. To me, the mint comes in on the very sides, not low on the tongue, but just the sides.
Rolling on the sides and like the back of the tongue sides all the way down.
Yeah, it's so it's hard to discern where it is, and as your palate develops, it'll get easier, for you. But it is quite interesting. I mean that's the thing when you can sit and really think about this.
Mm-hmm. That's a really thing that this channel is allowing us to do more and more of.
Yeah. I mean, we've had some others that we've done that are short videos and others become longer. And we've had some feedback that, they're too long. Your videos are too long.
But we really want to get to the bottom.
And the bottom at the end of it, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
this is as much as it is for everyone who is watching. It's also for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and so we enjoy sitting and talking to each other, and drinking bourbon.
A lot of it, yeah.
And if you don't watch. So
for me, this is
if you do watch and let your friends know, let your enemies know, and
we as much as we do enjoy this doing it for ourselves, we also really enjoy spreading the word.
Yes.
About bourbon is just a very diverse, incredible spirit that a lot of people, I think, steer away from because of the oak and the age that a lot of them have. And I think a lot of people think, oh, oak, that's going to taste really bitter and not be enjoyable. But that's just not the case.
A lot of people are afraid of it.
Very.
And so as I did tastings last night, and we were doing 12-year-old pours, and the oak can be very much overwhelming. Yeah.
And you had weeded bourbons on your side.
And they were 12 years old. They were 90 proof, which to me is low.
Yeah.
I would have much rather seen them at 110, 115. But for a novice, the 90 was good, but the 12-year-old oak could be very harsh to them. And so trying to get them, and I'm not being sexist, I'm not being anything like that, but particularly ladies, as they're beginning to get into bourbon, you've got to kind of step your toe into the water a little bit and take a sip. It's like a 3-drop sip, and kind of introduce it to your palate.
And that's a mistake I think a lot of people make when they're new into bourbon. They get like a 1/4 ounce pour to try something, and shoot it.
Yes, it's not a shooter.
You can make that 1/4 ounce pour be 3 sips.
Yes.
And you
watch us as we do it.
Just a touch.
We're doing less than an ounce in general.
You've got more than I do, but that's because I enjoy this. And my second sip was bigger than my first.
Yes.
But the first sip is almost exclusively a very small,
just enough to coat the tongue.
Just enough to coat the tongue. Get all 3 levels of the tongue. Keep it on your finish for a minute. Swallow it. Have it sit there. Let it linger. Really give it a chance.
Yes. And for those folks that it's going to shock, let it shock.
Yeah. Let it get past, because your first sip, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's vodka or if it's bourbon, your first sip of anything is going to be harsh. And that's just the way it is.
And sometimes it's a palate warm up.
Exactly. And if you shoot something, you're not going to get past that. It's there and it's gone. So if you don't sip it, you're not going to get to the point where you can get past that initial shock. And I understand it's not a pleasant experience, that first shock. And it happens for both of us.
Sure. Sometimes.
Even with a 90 proofer, sometimes if it's our first sip of the day, it's going to hit a little harsher than it would normally. Like if we went down, this is 124.6 or something, 124.3. If we were to jump down to a 90 proof right now, that'd be nothing.
Right.
But
and we would struggle to pick up the flavors.
Exactly.
Because you can burn your palate.
But with our first sip of the day being a 90 proofer, that first sip, we had to give it a minute, and we had to go back in before we could really solidify our opinion on it.
Right. And this one, I would tell you, it punches above the 124 for me. This punches like a 130, 135. It punches like a 136 Eagle Elijah Craig. So
that was trying to get out earlier, that it certainly drinks higher than 124.
And I think there's some rye in this blend.
High rye, I think for sure. We're in the 20s.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think it's wonderful. I have already added 1 drop. I've taken another sip. I'm going to add another one.
I did the same.
And it's so interesting.
So a lot of times when you hear us say it's oaky, you do get the woody flavor to it, but there's something to be said about the wood sugar.
Yes.
Because there's sugar in like 97% of substances on Earth.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So there is sugars in wood. And the oakiness, the sugars that it pulls out, specifically lends itself to desserty flavors like vanilla and chocolate and caramel. And this one in particular is very caramel forward. So you've got the spice from the higher rye mash bill. It's more of a cinnamon sort of, I wouldn't say in your face, but it's there and it's prevalent.
Yeah, that spice comes in, but it's also, it's because it's enhanced by the proof and it's enhanced by the oak. I mean, this might be one that you take a 1/4 ounce pour and you put 3 drops of water in.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that to get it into that spot where you can really get the flavors to come through on it.
Oh, this is a bottle you could make last.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because if you like your stuff around 100 proof, which I think is a really good spot for a lot of people.
Yes.
If you took your 1 ounce pour and you put 7 to 10 drops of water in it, you're probably proofing it down to maybe 105-ish.
Probably.
Somewhere in that range.
And because we have not talked about it, so when we say water, we don't mean tap water.
Please don't use your tap water. Please don't use
We don't even mean bottled water. What we mean is either distilled water if you don't have the access to something else, or what we use is Kentucky limestone mixing water. You can buy this. You can buy it on Amazon. You can just order it straight up. It'll be delivered in a couple of days, depending on where you are. Or, like I said, you can pick up distilled water at Walmart. So
yeah.
But if you like ice in your bourbon, good for you.
Please make it with distilled water.
Make it with distilled water. Don't use tap water. Don't use well water. Don't use, anything like that.
The iron content that is in city and well water in particular, if you don't have a good filtration system, iron is a very volatile substance, and it can tear down and eat away at almost anything that it's in. That's why if you go to a McDonald's,
things attached to it.
Yes. If you go to McDonald's and you get yourself a Coke, the water they use is not tap water. The water they use to make their ice is not tap water. And if it is,
it's heavily filtered.
Heavily filtered. Super filtered.
Right.
Because the iron latches on to other substances in whatever it is you're drinking.
And catches in those heavy micron filters.
Yes.
So the other thing is, in your tap water, if you're in a city or county or whatever, fluoride, chlorine, that type of thing is
fluoride in particular.
So it may be great for your teeth. I don't know. I don't trust what I'm told in many cases. So and yes, I'm telling you this, but the thing is, use distilled water. Make your ice cubes out of distilled water for your bourbon. It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, get an old school ice trade from the dollar store and just break them off. Put a few pieces in
your gallon
there.
Jug for 99 cents from Walmart, and
pour yourself a double. Get 2 ounces. Put 2 ice cubes in it of distilled water, and you're going to be set.
Yes. So, but what we're using here is
Kentucky limestone water.
This. Again, it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
You want to order it? Great. We don't get anything off of it.
Yeah. Anywhere from $10 to $20. Kind of depends on the time of year.
You can get it in a glass bottle. You can get it in a plastic bottle.
I bought mine. It was like $18. And then I went and looked like 4 weeks later, and it was $10. And I was like, well, the F you, Amazon. But about
you should shop harder.
$10 to $20 is the price you're going to pay for that.
But back to this. I think this is a wonderful bourbon.
Yeah.
I am very proud of my buy now. I was worried about it before, but I'm very proud now. It is a hot drinker.
Yes, definitely. It's hot. It's hot.
It lasts, man. It's still there.
It's sitting on my mid and finish right now.
Yes.
What's your rating for it?
B+.
I'm right there with you. B+.
Yeah.
B+.
Yep.
This is an exceptional drinker that really sticks with you. The nose transfers to the palate, and that's not super common with a lot of bourbons.
No.
So it's nice when you smell it and you taste it, you get exactly what you're expecting.
Yes.
So
yes, very good. Yeah. Very, very good.
Espy House, good job.
Yes,
good job.
Or even Espy House, however you want to say it.
Sorry, Espy. I have speech impediment. Genuinely, Espy House.
So, thanks for being with us again. And like bourbon, our videos will get better with time.
And as always, take care of yourselves.